Hey everyone, Aesop's here. Today I want to go over the January development update for Axie Infinity. We got some good news and unfortunately we also have some bad news in here. So let's get into it, guys. First off, there's a couple key things that they're highlighting for us right off the bat. The first one that's important is that the Sky Mavis team is now at 100 team members, which is huge growth compared to where they used to be. So the team's continuing to grow. They're going to be able to exponentially increase their speed on progress for Origin, Land, some of these other updates. Another thing I want to highlight, they're talking about an Origin alpha test launch in the coming months. Okay, so I know some people were expecting Origin to be released for Season 20 here. I don't see any way that's going to happen. They were talking about Season 20, and we'll get into that later, but I don't see any way that Origin is going to be coming before Season 20. I think it's going to have to be after Season 20, which means we're 2 to 3 months out probably before Origin, if I was to take a guess, because again, this is an alpha, so this is not going to be a finalized version or anything like that. So that's something important to note right off the bat, guys. The next thing I want to talk to you about is let's get into this land part. So they gave an update here on land. A couple things I want to highlight here is that they're talking about that the team's currently focused on building out a trading feature that will enable players to trade various resources with one another. I think that's really awesome, and this is something that has been expected for us to be able to see, but something I do want to highlight is that the trading system will likely take more than a month to build, and this just gives us an idea, again, as I highlight here, how much effort goes into building a major feature. This is important to note because, again, I think some people are expecting land to be coming soon. They're working on this trading feature. It seems like they're implying here that they still have another month to go on the trading feature. As well as we obviously know there's going to be some syncs that are exclusive to land. We'll also get some for Origin, and we'll talk about that in a minute here. But there's going to be some exclusive syncs, Axie burner mechanics, that kind of stuff in land exclusively. And so some of those big features are also probably going to take a month or so to build out. We've seen sneak peeks before of like PvP battles, being able to take over sections of land, control and contest areas on the land, and so a lot of that's going to take quite a while to build. If I was to guess, man, I'd say land is pretty. I'd have to say at least 5 months away. If you held a gun to my head and made me pick an answer here, that's where I would say is we're a good ways. Realistically, we're probably more like 8 months away would be my guess, because of where things are at, but we don't really know too much. And they did give us some sneak peeks, and I think this is great, or some previews of what the 3D models for some different land items look like. And you can see those here. You can see some more right here, and then we get into Origin. So before we get into Origin, again, I just want to highlight that this is really good for us to be able to see this. It helps us see the progress, helps us see kind of where they're at. But based on the information that they've shown us so far, again, my guess is we're easily 5 months away, and that's being a little bit optimistic. Realistically, we're probably more like 8 months away from land. So we're pretty far off, would be my guess, based on what we've been able to see. Okay, Origin, something that's very hot, people are expecting, people are begging for, hoping is coming around the corner. They're reiterating here again, their target alpha test is in the upcoming months. So we're a ways away from Origin coming out. They did give us some sneak peeks, so you can see some artwork here, some more artwork of these different power-ups, which we know to be a confirmed burning mechanic or sync. And then here's some new special effects that they're showing us. So I just want to show you guys this real quick. You can see the artwork looks very nice. It's definitely an upgrade from the current version of Axie, which is fair and to be expected. And then there's some of these things in here that I want to highlight. So in the top right corner, you can actually see this little name, Bug Projectile. We have Taunt. We have Rage. And so I think these might actually be sneak peeks of new abilities to come in. And that can be seen here. So they talk about some lore, and you guys are welcome to read through the lore a little bit more. But one of the big things that it mentions here about this Axie named Bubba is that, let's see, he's short-tempered. His rage can be so intense that it can cause his eyes to spark electricity. Well, this thing says rage in the top right. Here's the animation. So I'm guessing that there's actually going to be some abilities like that, and that's what they're hinting at here in this lore. So that's a guess right there for me. we get into growth, and this is where we hit some bad news, unfortunately. Something I want to highlight here real quick before we get into what they actually said is you can see the growth section is really small. There's no real numbers, there's no information, and I just want to show you past updates, and then I'll give you what I think the reason is for this. So if you look, this is back in July, so this is quite a while ago, but they do development updates, seems like basically every other month. You can see, here we go, protocol revenue, 30-day volume. There's lots of numbers, daily active users. They crossed 800,000 back in July. So there's numbers, data in here. Again, this is September now. So September 1, similar idea. Lots of numbers shown, and obviously they had big growth going on. October, yet again, daily active users, revenue, Alexa rank, that was an interesting one, 30-day volume. December, daily active users, some other information, transaction numbers, some of that kind of stuff. So there's data consistently in these. However, in January, we got no data. I think the reason for that can be seen in this December one. So they showed daily active users, and I pointed this out in a video the other day, but back in May, ever since May, you saw just an increase, just consistently in daily active users until you really hit November. And this is when SLP really started to hit some real lows going on here. You can see this daily active users kind of flattening off here. My guess is that through December, when SLP really tanked, and to be fair to the team, that's not their fault, the whole crypto market tanked somewhat. SLP did get harder than most cryptos, but so did a lot of other altcoins. So I want to be fair to them there, but when SLP did tank and AXS did tank, my guess is that this daily active users number actually started to decline to closer to that 2 million daily active user number, which would be this line here. And my guess is that's why they didn't really want to show us the data here, as well as when they actually go over to revenue. So this is on Axie World. This is revenue per month, which month and then year, US dollar amounts is what I want to highlight. So if you look back, here's July. You can see the revenue numbers in millions of dollars. So it peaks up a lot in July from the month before. Then you kind of start to decline off here, taper off, but then December you drop hard. So you have a kind of a steady decline going on, but you really drop off pretty hard there in December. And you had 3 months here where it was about the same revenue number. So again, my guess is they really didn't want to show these numbers where it's not looking great, and it's not totally their fault for that, but that's just something I think they didn't really want us to know, and that's probably why they didn't include that information in here. Some other things that they talked about that's nice in here, they're talking about how Origin is going to be a lot easier to onboard because you're going to get free starter Axies to be able to learn the game, fall in love with Axie Infinity before you have to commit. Obviously, right now, the barrier to entry is already dropping due to Axie prices dropping. When I got in back in, mid-end of July, it was about $1,000 to $1,500 for a team. So the barrier to entry, and that was before you could even play the game. So you'd have to drop that money without knowing how the game is and take a pretty big risk to get into the game. This, I think, will be a nice feature, being able to get free Axies to really test the game, experiment with it before you dive in. As well, there's a couple other things in here. So they're looking at how to add a referral code for content creators to be able to get rewarded for onboarding new people. I think that's going to be a great feature. A lot of the content creators are switching away from Axie Infinity because it's just not as popular anymore. They're able to get more views, more subscribers, all that, looking at other games. So a lot of them are broadening out from Axie Infinity now. They're also looking at how to structure grant systems for community developers. So depending on how they actually work this could actually be a great way for us to be able to get new tools and resources for the community. I think this will be really nice to see. We also have another round of esports tournaments that's going to be coming up, so that'll be exciting to also see. Season 20 here. Basically not a lot going on. The only thing I want to highlight here is that they're going to be launching the balance patch in the coming days, so my guess, 1 to 2 weeks is when we could expect that. We'll see exactly when it comes out, but that would be my guess, is about 1 to 2 weeks away. Let's see. There's not much else in here that's too notable. Again, they're talking about how the Sky Mavis team's been growing, and that's about it in here. They give us this interesting animation to look at. Not entirely sure what this is going to be for, but definitely interesting nonetheless. So that's all we got today, guys. We had some good news in here, some updates as far as things to look at, some animation, some images, some story, but we also had some bad news in here that they somewhat downplayed of the idea of Origin really not going to be coming for the near term like a lot of people are hoping. So hopefully we can see some short-term solutions to SLP to help sustain the economy until we get to Origin. So that's all I got for you guys today. I will catch y'all on the next one.